Guys, it's June 25th. You know what day it is. It's TMNT Mutant Mayhem action figure release day. So here we are at Target. See what they got. I'm hoping for all four of the turtles. Probably not going to pick up the turtle van, but we'll see when we start looking at it. Hopefully some of the villains are there as well. But let's go in. Let's get started. Uh-oh, we got a Donatello sticking out here. Could this be? They got the original stuff up there. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That is pretty darn adorable, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, that is the end of the toy section. I don't need to pick up a cat toy while I'm here. Our cat Lalo loves this carrot if you need a cat toy recommendation. But we're not here for cat toys, we're here for turtle toys. And we're going to end up asking somebody. All right, so we've had to ask an employee. The employee's actually going into the back to find them. Evidently they're here. They haven't pushed them out on the shelf yet. I guess I'm just too early. All right, guys, he's helping me out here. This is the man with the plan. We got everything right out of the back, fresh before it even hit the shelf. We got everybody. Some of these I weren't even expecting. We got Superfly, we got Leatherhead, we got Splinter, Bebop. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even expecting to find all of these in one stop. Shout out to Nick from Target for hooking us up here. Finding all of these in the back at the Cool Springs. Now let's get these up to the register and get them all checked out. I was nowhere near expecting to get all of these at one single trip. And so we got all done at one single Target over here in Cool Springs. And I can't wait to get them home, get them unboxed, and just see what these figures are all about. But so far, I'm loving them. All right, guys, so we got them all laid out here, and I did end up going for the turtle van. I know I was on the fence about it earlier in the video, but when I saw it there in the store of all the other figures, I just couldn't resist. So we have them all laid out here. Now we're actually going to do 3 separate videos here. We're going to do one video, which is the main video here. I'm going to do unboxing of all the 4 main turtles, as well as Splinter. A second video is going to be all of the villains, and I'll put a link up to it above right here. And the third video is going to be just of the turtle van itself. And so we're going to break each one of these down, do an unboxing, evaluate all the figures, but it's going to be 3 separate videos. But let's go and get started on unboxing the 4 turtles and Splinter. Alright, our first one we have here is going to be Leonardo, and I feel like the design for Leonardo, especially the picture over here and just the imagery in general for him, looks most closely like the 1987 cartoon. They didn't really branch off a whole lot for him as far as like some of the other ones, or a little more of a departure from the original. I feel like Leonardo is pretty darn close here, and you can see all the accessories in there. I like how the swords are going to be separate from the rest of the little ninja rack over here. You also have the little pre-mutated turtle, which is going to be Leonardo. We're going to unbox him here in just a second. But looking at the box, it does say the leader on there. When you turn the box over here on the back, of course it shows all the ones that you can collect. And we're going to unbox all the turtles, Splinter, as well as the enemies down below. And it says down here, Leonardo, Leo's the leader. Well, he wants to be. He dreams of leading his brothers to become an unstoppable crime-fighting team. So what if no one takes him seriously? And it says his weapon down here is a twin katana and dreamed to be a fearless leader. And that's pretty on par for pretty much all Leonardo representations. But regardless, that is what the back looks like. And so let's go ahead and unbox Leonardo. Alright, first thing I'm going to notice is the card itself. This is very similar to how the old cards used to be in the 87 line of figures, as far as like sort of a yellow light coming out of the sewers. But let's go ahead and pull Leonardo out here. Alright, so we already have a better view of what he's going to look like without some of the plastic. Obviously, we still got him in the background plastic here. We're going to take him out. But I have to say already, the colors are so vibrant on him. I mean, it looks really good so far. Let's go ahead and take him out here. So we don't have any of the weapons on him yet, but already, let's just look at the figure himself. First off, you're going to notice he has so many points of articulation here. His arms move at the elbow, his hands rotate around at the wrist joint, the shoulder joint. Obviously, his head turns left to right. I mean, there are so many more points of articulation on this figure than there ever was on the original Turtle figures back in the 80s. And man, the articulation is really cool on here. As far as the detail goes, look at some of the detail like on the shell there. That actually reminds me a lot more of like what the Turtle figures looked like from the Turtle movie, from the 1990 movie, the toy line for that. Maybe it was the Secret of the Ooze toy line. Whichever one, they actually had that same little turtle shell details on the back there. You can see where his katanas are going to go here in the back as well. And like I said, the colors are just very vibrant on him, as well as just great detail. I feel like even some of the detail as far as like how they're going to draw the figures inside the movie
sort of shows through on here, some of the jaggedness. And I don't mean jagged as far as like rough edges or anything like that. I just simply mean like a design choice to make him look a little bit more angular on some spots to probably match up with the movie design a little bit more. And obviously he has the little ninja stars on the belt as well. Does the belt itself come off like in the original figures? It most certainly does. And so I have to say, I love the design of Leonardo. I love all the points of articulation here. And I think the paint job is fantastic. Let's go and get the weapons out and let's get him set up a little bit. So you can see there, the katanas are very high quality. They fit into the hands absolutely perfect. There's no wiggle room like there was in some of the original figures. I know sometimes in the original toys from the 80s, when you put them in their hand, it sort of flops around a little bit. Very firm grip on there. I mean, you can really pose this any way you want. Excellent quality as far as the weapons. And even when it's going into the little back part here and his little belt, very firm grip so it's not going to fall out. And the craftsmanship is through the roof. It is excellent when it comes to this figure. I also like how the little ninja rack back here has all the little extra little weapons they're going to have. But, you know, you're probably not going to use those a whole lot. And I like they actually made the swords separate from the ninja rack. And so you don't have to really mess up that a whole lot or mess it up when you're trying to, you know, basically set the figure up. And so ninja rack, it's a cool little thing to have in addition to the figure to sort of bring back the old 80s toy line. But honestly, I don't really think the ninja rack would have been necessary. It's just sort of a nice little callback for the older generation. But I have to say, Leonardo, fantastic, and I'm a huge fan of the way this particular figure looks. All right, up next we have Michelangelo, and Michelangelo, it says down here, is the entertainer. And I have to say, I always loved Michelangelo growing up. Michelangelo and Leonardo were actually the first two Ninja Turtle figures that I got when I was like 4 years old, maybe 3 years old. I was really young when I got my first Turtles figures, and those were the first two that I got. And they have changed the design for Michelangelo a little bit, a different, more unique look to him here. And let's look on the back here a little bit as well. And of course it says all the ones that you can collect. And down here at the bottom, it has this little info card. Michelangelo, the comedian. Too bad his brothers don't think he's that funny. He might not be the best at ninjutsu or waking up on time or even hygiene, but you can always count on Mikey's positive attitude, weapons, nunchuck, and dream is to be a stand-up comedian. And I'm really glad they're going to be using the nunchucks instead of the little grappling hook, because I know at one point they did take away the nunchucks from Michelangelo, just simply because of, I guess, concerns in some countries as far as like having nunchucks is too violent of a weapon. Well, let's go ahead and get Michelangelo out of the package here and see if he holds up to the same quality as Leonardo. Already we can tell the orange is really showing through on Michelangelo. Great paint job already. His weapon rack that we're going to pull out here in just a second, we'll go and take a look at it here, is going to be the actual same color as the original weapon rack back in the 80s. And so Leonardo's was actually silver. This one's going to be the same color as the 80s one. And you can see the little extra weapons that he has is going to be a little mutagen container, some ninja stars, as well as a slice of pizza. And the nunchucks down here are not going to be the same as the other ones. He has extra nunchucks for like microphones, it looks like, maybe, as well as more of a, oh man, that's a ferocious looking one there, with a little blade on the end. And so Michelangelo's got some extra, actually some pretty decent stuff in his little ninja rack there. And so let's go and get Michelangelo himself out and the other nunchucks. Alright, so they really reinforced Michelangelo in there. Leonardo didn't have but one tie-in for him, and Michelangelo had like 4 or 5 or 6. I mean, my gosh, it was like every little piece of him was tied in. And you can see Michelangelo is going to be a little bit of a smaller turtle here, almost sort of like the runt turtle to a degree. Same points of articulation, excellent when you see that on him. The arms there look a little bit, hang on one second, okay. The arms is going to take a little bit as far as like maneuvering to get them to go exactly how you want, because there are so many points of articulation. It may take you a little while to get them to move exactly the direction coming straight out of the package. But Michelangelo looks fantastic. The coloring on him is excellently done. And same little details on the turtle shell. Great little ninja belt here, very reminiscent of the original one. Actually has a little extra blanks or extra spaces there for the nunchuck to give him a little bit more give inside of the plastic. Very cool to see that. But the detail on him, same thing for him as well. You can see his little braces on his teeth there, just like he has inside the movie. As I said, he's got a little bit more of a different look than Leonardo, but still pretty classic as far as the way the turtles are going to come together here. And let's go and get his weapons on him and take a look at him. Alright, so you can see there his weapons. The weapon, once again, his nunchucks fit perfectly inside the hand. In the back here on the belt, it is nowhere near as good of a fit as Leonardo's was. You are going to be able to get them side by side. You're going to have a space between them, which isn't a huge deal, but even then, they don't seem to fit in there just perfectly as you go. But overall, he is still a great looking figure, still the same little jagged edge stuff that I was talking about with Leonardo to sort of represent the artistic style of the movie. And so I really like that what they're doing on these figures, and the paint job and the craftsmanship. Man, I am really impressed, especially since these figures are only like $10 each. That's even cheaper than what the reissues are from Playmates at the moment. And so, great figure. And while I'm thinking about it, each one does come with a unmutated version of themselves, and they're actually different colors too, so you can tell which one is which turtle. They could have so easily just done the exact same turtle, same mold, same paint job for every one of them, but no, they chose to go the extra mile and make these turtles a little bit different to show the differences between all of the brothers. I love that attention to detail. Up next we have Raphael, and he's going to be deemed the angry one, it says down here. And he's always had an issue with his temper all the way through the entire Ninja Turtle franchise over the years. And that's even shown in the new movie. I think he's missing a tooth as well. I can only imagine it has something to do with the interactions from his anger. I don't believe it's shown in the action figure here. No, it's definitely not. But regardless, it's definitely in the movie. Paint job on Raphael, very vibrant reds, a little bit different turtle color himself. Once again, the weapons are outside of the core weapon rack, which I like to see. On the back, same thing as far as like which ones you can collect. But down here at the bottom it says Raphael. Raphael likes to break things. In fact, his biggest goal is to punch someone so hard that they throw up. Good Lord, Raphael. But beneath his hard head and tough exterior is a sensitive turtle just looking for someone to talk to, weapons twin side, and dreams to be a mixed martial arts fighter. I mean, good Lord, they really did hype up that anger there, punching someone so hard like that. But let's go ahead and open Raphael up and take a look at the actual mold of the figure. Alright, straight out of the first part of the plastic, you can definitely see the paint job, as I said earlier, is just perfectly on par with the other two turtles we've already taken out. Even like down to the little details of the mold as far as like a little injury there. Man, like they just did such a great job and just wonderful coloring on every single one of these. And the details for a $10 figure, man, I just can't get over it. Well, let's go ahead and get him out of the plastic and take a deeper look at him. Alright, the weapons rack here. The weapons rack really doesn't have anything as far as like unique specifically to Raphael as far as I can tell. You know, we got some of the same things like a little mutagen can, pizza slice, ninja stars. I'm not really sure what weapon those are, but I'm not sure if he used those in the movie. I'm not really sure. But regardless, same color as Leonardo's weapon rack, and so we're going to move on from there. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at him. Once again, very similar details as far as the art style for the figures. You are going to have to rotate these around a little bit in order to get the joints to go in the direction that you want to. Usually toys come in as far as like straight out of the plastic, a way to sort of bend them that's more natural, where these are a little bit, you have to sort of finagle them a little bit to give them to exactly what you want. But the mold of Raphael, excellent. And I like this little extra pocket it has on his belt. I never noticed that in any of the trailers, but he of course has a little extra pocket there. I wonder what he carries inside that pocket. Of course, on the back, the belt looks good. The turtle shell, same great detail. He's wearing a different bandana than the other turtles, and that's sort of been an iteration for him for a good while inside the franchise. But let's go ahead and get the size in his hand, see how they look. Oh, I just realized the parts to put the side in as far as the belt go are way over here on the side. Possibly to make room for that little pocket. I'm not sure, but that's really far apart. But let's go ahead and get his size in his hand and see how he looks. Alright, I cannot express enough how awesome it is that these weapons fit so well into their hands. Yeah, it looks like it might be bent a little bit, but that's nothing compared to some of the other figures I've had over the years. The weapons, as far as they fit in the hand, boy, that is just like the perfect grip for all of these little accessories that they have. So Raphael keeps up the same quality as his brothers here, and just a great figure overall, and I can't wait to display these on the shelf. Alright, the last turtle we got here before we get to Splinter is going to be Donatello. He is deemed the brains according to the box here, which obviously fits in with his intelligence from the other turtle iterations. And you can see here, looking through the plastic, got some really great accessories here. Got a little belt, a little cell phone because he's a tech guy. His headphones over here. I'm interested to see what his little weapon rack's going to have in the back. But he got a little staff over here, his little bow. And on the back, it does say down here, talking about Donatello. It says, Donatello, Donnie is devastatingly smart and not afraid to let you know it. His intellectual self-assuredness may come across as arrogance, but it's just that his brain is thinking so many steps ahead that he's paralyzed with indecision. His weapon is a bow staff, and the dream is to become a game developer by day, K-pop star by night. And so they're definitely giving Donatello some character here. And Donatello, I've always loved Donatello. And so I can't wait to see what sort of accessories we have. So let's go ahead and get him out of the box and examine him as well. Alright, first glance out of the box. Once again, a different paint job as far as like color-wise goes, but still same quality, especially for the purple and the green there. Same thing for the accessories. I will say his bow accessory doesn't look as detailed as some of the other ones as far as their weapons go. This looks more like just a regular old, I don't know, part of the weapon. Yeah, even the color back here. His bow is fine, but it's nothing compared to some of the weapons of the other turtles. I'm not sure, they probably could have done a little extra paint on that. Not a big deal, but it is worth noting there. But let's go ahead and get him out of the package and take a look at it. Alright, so we have his little weapon rack here. It almost looks like he has a version of the nunchucks himself, which is odd, and a little extra special staff here, a little blade on the end. Man, they're giving him some pretty violent weapons in this movie, and so maybe it's going to be a little bit more darker of a take on the turtles than we realize, which would be pretty darn cool. But let's go ahead and get him the rest of the way out of the package. Alright, so we're looking at him here, and man, he's got such a unique design as well. None of the turtles are going to have the exact same body shapes. You know, that was something in the original figures. They were all pretty much the same mold for the most part, where every one of these is its own unique mold as far as like different sizes, you know, different builds. And man, it's just so refreshing to see so much detail taken on these turtle figures for such a base price. And you can see here Donatello's got his glasses. I mean, the look here is just really, really cool. I believe his bandana is even a little bit longer, so that's even more detail they're giving to every individual turtle. His turtle shell has the same details as the rest of them. Sort of got the double belt here because one of them is holding up his fanny pack because, of course, Donatello would have a fanny pack holding his little cell phone there. Does the cell phone come out? Let's see. The cell phone does not come out. I didn't expect it to, but man, Donatello is such a cool looking figure here. I love that they gave him such a slender or frail build because Donatello is going to be much more focused on his brains rather than his muscles. And just a really cool look for him. Let's go and put the headphones on like he has in the movie, because in the movie he sort of has them around his neck like this from what we've seen. And look at that. They do not fit perfectly around his neck, I'm not going to lie. Like, that's not ideal as far as the headphones go. Oh my gosh, his glasses come off. Look at that, guys. I didn't realize his glasses come off. So, man, the detail on these figures is just crazy. And a little hole for the glasses to go back into. Oh my gosh, like this is some of the stuff you see on like the $20, $30 figures. That detail is insane. Let's go and get his weapon here, see how the weapon fits. The weapon, just like the other turtles, the weapon fits perfectly. As I said, the detail on the weapon itself isn't the best. But I have to say, I think Donatello may be my favorite as far as like the accessories on the turtles go. Because I love that the glasses come off. I love the fanny pack. I love the little cell phone. I love just the overall look of Donatello. Man, a great, great figure here. And couldn't be more excited about having him on the shelf. All right, up next we have Splinter here. It says Master Sensei. And he's going to have more of a little hipster look here. Less of a grandpa look, which is, you know, a little disappointing because I always love the grandpa look of Splinter. I'm not saying this version's bad. I just have a particular fondness for the older version of Splinter. And it looks like he's got his little cane here, just like he had in the older action figures. And I remember the cane like separated, become like a weapon as well. So we're going to see if that holds true. But overall, you know, a unique design for him. I wanted the glasses come off like with Donatello. It says on the back here, as you go down to his little bio, Splinter, Rat Dad / Sensei. Splinter is coping with the fact that he has 4 sons who are growing up. He's made a wonderful sewer home for his family, but now his sons need independence, and New York needs his sons. Weapon, walking stick, sword, so it's definitely going to come apart like we thought. And the dream is to protect his sons. And so I really do love that they're having an emotional approach to Splinter outside of just being a mentor, teaching him how to fight. Like he's just a regular old dad who's watching his sons grow up. And, you know, probably going to be a little homesick when they finally have to move away at some point. And so I like the emotional side they're putting on Splinter here. Let's go and get him out of the package, take a look at the overall model. Alright, so looking straight out of the plastic, Splinter is definitely going to have more of a gray approach, where more in the older cartoons, he's more of a brown-haired rat. He's definitely going to be more gray looking, possibly to portray his age a little bit more. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure on that. Does have the classic robe. He definitely looks more, I guess, rat looking than some of the other incarnations of Splinter. Let's go ahead and look at his weapon rack back here. Oh my gosh, they kept the bow from the original figure from the 80s. That is so cool. So they have the original bow, the little arrows. That is a really cool weapon rack. Has the same little staff slash sword here, which you're going to have a better version of in the main part of the weapons. But still a pretty cool little weapon rack that definitely harkens back to the original figure, and so it shows some homage to that. And so let's go ahead and get Splinter himself out though. Alright, so Splinter does not have as many points of articulation as some of the turtles. His knees don't bend. But he does have a tail that has some articulation back here. But overall, Splinter being an older man here, he's obviously not going to be as mobile as the turtles, but still plenty of points of articulation compared to the original figures. His glasses, do they come off? Let's see. His glasses, they do come off. So you do have a little bit more of a traditional looking Splinter if you want to go for that. Man, that's actually a pretty cool little mold for his head there without the glasses. I may actually prefer him without the glasses. He looks a little bit less hipster-like and more like the Splinter that I know and love. But as far as like the outfit goes, keeping the same color as the original Splinter. And let's take a look at that little weapon here. Let's go ahead and take it apart, see if it has a little sword inside. Does it have the sword? Let's see. I don't want to break it. Good Lord, there's a sword in there. Yep, there it is. He's got that little dagger hidden inside of the cane, just like he always did. Very cool little effect there. Let's go ahead and put the cane inside of his hand and see how that looks. There we go, guys. And if you wanted to put it down here, you can actually make the cane different lengths because of all the articulation. So the cane can actually look like it's a useful cane to him. I was a little worried about that, but overall, of the ones so far, Splinter's probably my least favorite, but still a really good looking figure. Great detail as far as, you know, putting little fur shavings on there and whatnot. Overall, not as good as the turtles, but still a pretty darn cool looking figure. Alright guys, that wraps up our first video of the unboxing of all 4 turtles and Splinter. We have a second video coming up of all the villains, and a third video coming up of the turtle van itself. But I have to say, for the 4 turtles, I could not be more excited for them. I love all the individual molds for them. I love all the individual weapons, all the little extra little things they did, like Donatello's glasses, his little fanny pack. As far as like Michelangelo looking a little bit more goofy, Leonardo as far as, you know, keeping it the traditional turtle look. All of their weapons sort of harkening back to the old days, especially Splinter with his little bow and arrow that he has, as well as a little cane that has a little sword that comes out. So many cool things that these action figures have to harken back to the old days, but also represent the new movie as far as like the art style, the jagged edges. I love all the little bitty small turtles you get, the unmutated ones for every figure. Every figure is so distinct, has so many points of articulation, and looks like its own individual character, which I think says a lot for the upcoming movie, because they want you to distinguish all of the turtles differently instead of just simply a different color bandana from another turtle. Every turtle's gonna have its own personality, its own want, its own desires, and I think it's gonna be a really emotional tale, and I cannot wait for the new film. But I love these 4 action figures as well as Splinter. Actually, Splinter a little bit less, but I love the 4 turtles intensely as far as like these action figures go. I can't wait to display them. But I will be having a second video coming up soon as far as the villains, and a third video for the turtle van. Keep on the lookout for that. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above. Check out the other turtle unboxing videos as well. And by all means, go out there, find a great game to play. Just simply have a great rest of the day.